Life is messy and unpredictable.
Being able to find joy in the weeds of life is so important. I'm Beth.
And I'm Kim, and we are so glad you've joined us as we figure out how to hold joy in one hand and struggle in the other.
Welcome to Joy in the Weeds. All right. Hello. We are so glad to be back together. We have Nitza with us today, and I am so excited that she is here. Kim and I just got back from a convention that was called a Called Convention, and it was for pastors from the Seventh-day Adventist Church in the North American division, which includes all of North America, so like Micronesia, Guam, Micronesia, Bermuda is also part of that. Anyway, I don't even know. It's a lot. Over 5,000 pastors were there. And while we were there, I was at a booth for Women's Ministries, just kind of helping out. And Nitza came in and I got to meet her. And as you guys are going to see in 2 seconds, she is incredibly contagious.
Yes.
She has such a joy about her.
Yes.
And it didn't take long as I was hearing her story to know that we wanted for you all to hear her story here too. And we're going to give you a lot more information about what she does, because I know some of you may want to get involved and help or start doing something similar yourself. But Nitza, I'm going to let you introduce yourself and then tell us a little bit about this ministry that you are involved with.
Sounds good. Thank you, Beth and Kim, for having me here. I'm very excited. Well, my name is Nitza Salazar, and I'm the Washington Conference Children's Ministry Director and also teacher, Bible teacher and social studies teacher at the Academy here in Washington State at Auburn Adventist Academy. And I want to tell you about this ministry. I was so blessed to be able to participate in an evangelistic Shark Tank at Called Convention. And I was able to share this ministry with many, many people. So I like to share this with you, and I'm pretty sure you're going to be so blessed. So this ministry, it's called Special Stars, okay? And everything started...
Okay, wait. It's called
yes.
Special... Say that again. Special Star.
Yes. Yes. And let me tell you, everything started in 2018, late October. A mom came to me and said, Nitza, is it possible to do a Christmas program so my son can be Joseph? And I was like, I was not sure about the question. I was like, okay, you want to do a Christmas program so your son can be Joseph? And she said, correct. And I was like, okay. And then she said, well, listen, Nitza, my son has Down syndrome. And every Christmas, he wants to be Joseph, and he hasn't had the chance. And let me tell you that request of that mother really touched my heart. And right away I said, sister, your son this Christmas is going to be Joseph.
Wow.
And I said, I have no funds for this program, but if it's God's will, it's God's bill. And because when you start a ministry, when you have a ministry, you present all your events at the beginning of the year, and if something comes up, like, you have to find it the way, your way, to make it happen. So, but God provided. So that Christmas, her son was able to be Joseph, and not only him, but I started calling churches, Adventist churches and non-Adventist churches, to see like if there's any other kids with special needs that would like to be part of this program. And I started calling churches, and I was able to find 25 kids. And when I told them about the, how everything started and what I want to do, like, they were eager, like, yes, like, I want to be part of that program. Like, I've never been part of a play, and that was super special. So we have 25 kids in 2018, and we got one of the largest churches in the Washington Conference, and we packed it. And well, those kids packed it, with their family, with grandparents, aunties, like teachers from therapy, and it was just like amazing. So we packed that church, and they loved it. It was very, very powerful, just to see parents or their supporting groups with both kids, just waiting for the program to be over to receive those kids for the first time. I mean, just receiving those kids with flowers. It was,
sorry to interrupt you, but that is something that I think as parents that don't have special needs children, this was something I'd never thought about before.
Me too.
That those families miss out on the opportunity that most of us, quite frankly, a lot of us sit through those programs at Christmas time, sitting there like, really? We have to sit here? And, you know what I'm saying? But then watching your child, like, it's always the most beautiful thing. And no
Mhm.
matter how small your church is or how small the program is, having the opportunity to sit there and watch your child do something like that is glorious. And
Mhm.
how and to think that that whole community, right,
Mhm.
of parents miss out on that. I mean, it's something
Mm.
I'd never thought about before.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
God is so good. And let me tell you that usually with a parent with a special needs children, they're always helping them. Like they're always right next to them.
Mm.
But for this program, we make them sit down and enjoy the program. So I interviewed the parents and I said, what's the disability? How can I help your kid? How can I make your kid love and taken care of? So I come up with the parent with like a bunch of questions and like, how can I serve your kid? So I write in a folder, I have it everything like a file. And then I contact adventurers, pathfinders, or master guides that would like to be volunteer, like, would like to volunteer to this program. And we meet, and I said, this is your kid, this is your kid, this is your kid.
Wow.
So they study the file, and
Wow.
then they do their own research. Okay, they go and learn about autism or the spectrum, the type of spectrum that they have, or cerebral palsy, like what can we do. And then they see the characteristics of the kid, and then say like they come up with with ways to connect with the kid. So when the kid has a special part, like the kid plays the guitar
Mhm.
or plays another instrument or sings or says something, this volunteer, the pathfinder, adventure, master guy, goes on stage with the kid and help present and help to do their
Wow.
part. So they
So
also
you
get the
so you have
response.
to come up so you have to come up with one person per child to help out? Is
Exactly.
that how you're doing it? Wow.
Exactly. So we have like hundreds of
Wow.
volunteers. And let me tell you,
Uh-huh.
this is making a big impact because it's not only like helping with inclusion and helping other kids, but many of our volunteers said, I want to do this. Like I want to study, I want to be a special needs
Right.
I wanna connect more, and like it's taking it to another level when it's changing the culture of our church.
Right.
To make our churches a little bit more friendly with special needs, or how to receive, how to get the possibilities out of this family to become part of our local church. So this is not only like a Christmas program. This is like changing the culture of our Adventist church and how to get better in the areas that we have forgotten.
Mhm.
Wow.
So this is what they do. The parents just sit down because they already know that the volunteer that is taking care of the kid knows exactly, like, wants to be with the kid
Mm.
and wants to learn with the kid and wants to guide the kid. So it is like a whole experience. So the parents are just sitting down, taking pictures and enjoying the program because they don't usually get that. They're always
Wow.
busy or they're always tired. So, but this one
Mm.
is just like sit down and enjoy, mom and dad, because we took care of this.
Wow.
Um, it's just amazing. So 2018 came, and those kids, the 25 kids that participated, they started telling people from the therapy session or from school. So we got 43 kids attending 2019. And once again, we got another church, another large church to fit this amount of people, because I'm telling you, they're not only come with mom and dad, they come grandma, grandpa, neighbors, they come aunties and uncles and support groups and teachers, or they come with a community that supports them.
Mhm.
This is not only that get they do it often, so when something like that happens, well, everybody comes and surrounds them. Even like church members, like they're not, like, if they're not our Adventists, they come from their church, they
Mhm.
come and join this program. It's a
Mm.
community event. Okay,
Mm.
so we're one of the largest churches. We have 43 kids and they participated. And let me tell you, one of the highlights from 2019 that really like is real, always in my heart and in my mind, is a mom crying in the dressing room. She has a cerebral palsy kid that year he was supposed to be a wise man.
Mm.
So the staff, the volunteers, they were transforming his wheelchair into a walking camel. So when you move the chair, the legs move like it's
That's
walking.
awesome.
Okay? And the mom was in tears, and she said,
Of
"I've never
course.
seen a kid on a wheelchair be treated like a king."
Wow.
It was so powerful.
Wow.
She said, "I've never seen a kid on a wheelchair treated like a king."
That's beautiful.
With tear on her eyes. I was
Yeah.
like, "This is so powerful,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
powerful." And the kid was like with a huge smile. I hope I can, show you pictures. I'll send you the link so you can see,
Yes, that'd be
the
great.
happy kid. Like
Yeah.
they were just enjoying, like transforming a wheelchair into a walking camel. It's like
Wow.
wow, it's like amazing. It's amazing, amazing. And it's just like ideas of the community, like how
Mhm.
they come on and say, how can I help? What can I do?
Mhm.
Another thing of 2019 that really, really impacted me, there is this church member. She's from Federal Way Spanish Church, and she was like, Nitza, how can I help? Nitza, how can I help? And I say, sister, I have everything. I think I have enough volunteers. I have everything. She said, no, Nitza, it has to be something for me. I want to be part of this. And then on a meeting with all our staff or all volunteers, they said, oh, we should be collecting offering for the next program.
Mm.
And it will be so nice if we do the buckets, because the theme was the little drummer, drummer boy. That
Mhm.
was the only thing they have. It was a drum as a gift to Jesus.
Mhm.
That was her theme for that year. And then she said, I want to be part. And I said, okay, sister, I have something for you. Can you do those buckets so we can collect offerings like a drum? And she said, oh, yes, I'll do it. I'll do it. That
That's so
night, let me tell you, that night she went, she had a Bible study, but she has a ministry that she ministered to the people that get out of jail. Okay.
mm. Mm. Mm.
So she shared her task, to that group. And then there is one guy that he was there. I can say names, but he had an ankler, that is still on his leg. Okay,
Yeah.
he was
Mhm.
not able to work. He had no money, no, he couldn't drive, nothing. Okay, but he was touched by the program and how everything started, and he
Mm.
said, "Sister, let me do those buckets for you." And then she said, no, I don't trust a man doing something like that. Men usually are not that crafty. I'm like, are you serious? You told him that? And he said, yes, because I don't really trust him, but he was really wanted to do it. And then and then she said, well, I'm gonna give you a try. Yes, you can do it. Okay. And but please do two. And she was like, we'll see, what he comes up with, right? You're not gonna believe what he did. I told you he had no money, he couldn't even drive, nothing like that. He got a piece of cardboard, he got a Sharpie, and he went to the streets in Federal Way to beg for money
Mm.
to make those buckets.
Mm.
And he got it. Those buckets, I keep it in my office, as a reminder that God will provide, and this is a community, this is so powerful. But you are not gonna believe what he did. It was a piece of art. It was something that I couldn't do. The lady, that she's super crafty, but she was very proud. That guy, it was so, like, the details that he did, it was
Wow.
so powerful. And what was so impactful for me is like, sometimes I think like, oh, that guy is gonna use the money for drugs or something, like very skeptical, how are they gonna use the money? But he changed my view.
Wow.
He really changed the way that I see people begging for money in the streets, because he did it for the program.
Mm.
It was so powerful. I was like, God, you're touching people, and I was so, so, so happy. 2020 came, and of course, COVID, and hit
Mm.
very bad and for everybody. But let me tell
Yeah.
you that people with special needs are a very high risk group. Okay, so the chances of getting COVID is way higher than anybody else. Okay, and it can hit hard. It's bad. Okay, so many of my kids that were participating in 2018 and 2019, they declined and they couldn't talk or they couldn't walk. So it was very
Mm.
hard to see that.
Mhm.
But we were still connected during COVID. Text message, Facebook, Zoom, anything. Like, because parents with special needs, they're very busy. Okay. They're
Mm.
like, another thing, another meeting, it's like so much for them. So randomly, like, text message, hey, how you doing? Happy birthday. So nice,
Mm.
things like
Mhm.
that. Okay? Nothing formal, but still the connection. And those kids that they had that declined very bad, those were the ones that reached out to me and said during the fall and said, are we gonna have a stage to shine this year?
Mm.
And I said, we have to do something. So we did a Zoom program, with the little squares, like typical COVID
Yeah.
year, So we recorded a song and everybody was recording. So we put it together. The media department at a conference are amazing. So they put
Mm.
it together. They did a great program. And we were able to have a Christmas program during COVID online stage. And they loved
Wow.
it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
2021 came, and they were eager to be part of a Christmas program again in person. So once again, I'm telling you, I'm from Washington State. Okay, this area is actually the area where the first case of COVID existed in the United States. So the lockdown, it was crazy. It was super different from other states. Um, but we were able to have the program with social distancing, of course, and with extreme like precautions and everything sanitized, and but we were able to have it. But once again, I didn't have a place big enough to hold 70 kids that now they grew, well, we grew during the pandemic because of the connection and interacting with families. They were looking for a place to where they could connect. So we had 70 kids participating, and I didn't have enough place, a big enough place. So someone told me that the Alliance of People with Disability in Seattle, Washington, they were giving grants for to reopening programs for people with disabilities. And I reached out right away and I said, please give me the email. I'm gonna read. And then I started emailing and conversating with this person, and I didn't know that I was already applying for the grant. Like when you apply for the grant, there is like a specific things and a format that you have to do to reach out people's heart, and the specific words and fancy blah blah. But in my case, I didn't know that I was applying already. So the same way that I'm talking to you, it was the same time I'm typing, and it was like back and forward, like, hey, and what happened to this? And she was asking me, and I was responding, and I was not even like, oh, I should use this word. No, I was just like common, like common English. And and she told me, okay, I'll reach out to you at the end of the month and see if you're gonna get it. And I was like, what? Like, can you give me another chance? Like, can I? This is amazing. I love this ministry, and I love that you're not only reaching the Adventist group. This is a community. 75% of my participants are not Adventists.
75?
75% they're not Adventists. They're community or non-religious.
Wow.
So, and she loved it, and I'm like, oh my goodness. And I was just praying. I said, God, please work miracles, like help my grammar and everything. But then at the end of the month, she called me back and she said, Nitza, you got it. You got all the money that you asked for. I said,
wow.
I started contacting the parents. I said, we're having this program 2021, the comeback year, and the Federal Way Performing Arts Center with 750 seats available. And I'm like, this is the perfect place for social distancing for our kids to be safe. So of course we just closed it for families, and so we got like 500 people attending still, but because of the space, it was great. So because we didn't want any kids, to get sick, or we couldn't like even have a little chance of people getting sick.
Right.
So we got that place, we secured the fund, we got the grant, and then the NBC News in this area heard that we got that place, and they saw the poster, so they contacted us, and I said, I want to see what's happening. What is the Seventh Avenue Church is doing in this area? So can we go and do a story? And I'm like, and when he contacted us, he said like already like 3 connections already told him about our program, and he said, oh, the stars aligned for me to go there. And I'm like, it's not the stars and it's not aligned, it's my Jesus, the one
That's right.
tell you
That's right.
story. So he came to the conference, he did a story, and like it was just amazing. So they put it in the news, and thousands of people watch, and many of them reached out to me and said, Nitza, I want my kid to be Joseph. Nitza, I want my kid to be Mary. I want my kid to be an angel, and I'm like, you're in. And at this point, until this day, we have 140 kids that want to shine on stage this Christmas.
Oh my word.
Let me tell you that being at Call Convention and being able to participate in evangelism Shark Tank and winning the first place, it was an answered prayer.
Yeah.
Because I went back home and I told the kids and I told the parents, we're having a Christmas program this year. Last year, it was very challenging having 70 kids participating. So having 140, it moved us to have 2 shows. Not only one, but now we have 2 shows.
Of course.
So, and now we have the money to rent the theater for 2 days so they can have a stage to shine. So it's just, and I have a little extra money to get more costumes, so it can be, like I'm ready to go. So So it's just amazing. Let me tell you that last year, 2021, like I'm a huge advocate for families with special needs children.
Mm-hmm.
And
Right.
I'll tell you why.
Mm.
Because since 2018, from backstage, I was able to see the face of Jesus.
Mm.
And every year, I look forward to see him again.
Mm.
And you see the face of Jesus, in the face of the children, the parents. It's it's a life changing when you can see his face. And not only me, but also the adventurers, the pathfinders, and the master guide volunteers. They've been able to see the face of Jesus by interacting with children with possibility.
Wow.
And they just keep coming back, and we have to do it. We have to do it because it's kind of like an addiction. It's like, I want to see Jesus again this Christmas. And I just don't only speak for Adventist groups, but I speak with other churches, and I said, we have to do something with the special needs groups. And I've always been looking for a picture of Jesus with different types of disabilities. There's always Jesus
Mm.
with a wheelchair, with a kid in
Right.
a wheelchair,
Right.
or Jesus
Mm.
with a kid
Mm.
with crutches. But you've never seen a picture with Jesus and a kid with Down syndrome,
Right.
or cerebral palsy, or autistic, or blind.
Right.
But special needs or disabilities, it's more beautiful than that. It's more beautiful than a wheelchair. It's more beautiful than crutches. So we are the first church entity that have created a picture, an image of Jesus with different types of disabilities. So the kids that
Mm.
participated in the 2021 program, 70 kids, during a piece of art where they are displayed in the Christmas program with their disability.
Wow.
In this painting, you see angels in the midst, like in the middle, like just healing. Kids
Mm.
with there's a kid that he didn't have a disability, but he got into a car accident, and he lost his arm function and everything. So you see an angel touching
Mm.
touching his arm for healing. One of my kids that she used to walk in 2018 and 2019, and she stopped walking.
Mm.
She's standing up in the picture, and an angel touching the legs. And when the mom saw that image, that her daughter was finally standing after the COVID, it's so powerful. There are so many. Like, I hope, like, I can just make a video and explain this painting, and I said, what you see here, this is miracle. This is a miracle.
Yeah.
And community that have been part of this program, they had even joined their local Seventh-day Adventist church, and their children with special needs, they've been able to have Bible studies and even get baptized. So
Wow.
in the painting, when you see the kid that is like in front of the stairs going to Jesus, it's actually reflecting that boy took a call of getting baptized. So the painting is like
Mm.
so powerful. Oh, I wish like I just explained each one of the cases, so you're gonna be like, wow, this is
Mm.
just amazing. So this is the first painting in the Seventh Adventist Church in the
Mm.
history that it's telling community and people and other churches around that we care with children with disability, that Jesus cares, and this is a safe place where
Wow.
they are welcome to join us
Wow.
because we accept everyone. So this is not only a Christmas program or like an evangelistic strategy for other people to follow, but this is like creating a culture in our
Yes.
church
Yes.
um, of acceptance, of
Mhm.
inclusion, like
Mhm.
to change that mentality that this church is a welcoming church that cares and loves for people with
Mm.
disability.
Mm.
Wow.
Man, I'm telling you, yeah, I'm sitting here crying. I know we both are. It's absolutely such a phenomenal story. I mean, it really is. Tell me a little bit more about your background. How did you start in children's ministries, and what brought you to that? Um, Tell us about your family and how how has this impacted you personally?
Oh, well, let me tell you, like, I was born in San Francisco, grew up in Mexico City, and I studied to be a high school teacher. And I work in the public system in the Detroit area for 5 years. And um, I got in love with youth, and I'm in love of um, with helping people. I started as a teacher, as a public high school teacher. Um, I had a lot of students with self-cutting, mutilation,
Mhm.
depression. So
Mhm.
being an Adventist, being a Christian in the public system, I was able to find the call of ministering uh, to people like that. So I started like getting certifications and helping people, helping with those issues.
Mm.
Later on, I worked there in Michigan in the public system, and then we moved to Central California Conference. My husband is a pastor. We
Mm.
worked there, and then Washington, and then that's how. I've been always been involved in church ministry, always,
Mhm.
and so that's how I started, helping and being a teacher. I also work as a teacher in the Adventist Auburn Adventist Academy in Washington, and then when they saw my passion and they said, Nitza, would you like to help us in this ministry? And I say, yes, of course. And I started and as soon as I got the job for children's ministry director at the Washington Conference, it was late October, and the
Wow.
same week when I was announced, this mom came to me. Like the same week that I got the job and I was just working, that was when the mom, because my husband is the youth director at the Washington Conference. So I've been traveling with him all over Washington. So people got to
Okay.
know. Okay. So when I got the job, like people were like, oh, that's amazing. Oh, congratulations. And then that's when the mom said, I should go to Nitza to ask for this because
Wow.
I really need to express the desire and get that wish for my son. So we had already a connection. Like we have seen each other, but when she heard that I was working with children's ministry and she said, is it possible for you to do it? And that's when everything started. And I've been learning a lot in children's ministry. I know some people, some pastors, they maybe think like, oh, it's just like a daycare. And I'm
Mm.
like, it's something like it's a person that just leads with Sabbath school and gets the lessons. And I said, this is evangelism.
Mhm.
I believe so much as a mom. I believe that this is like our children, they are the present, not the future of our church. Like
Mhm.
we should do evangelism at this moment. I know it's great to have, evangelistic series and invest in money, reaching out people, but we should be reaching out the kids that we already have because those are the members that we have at this moment.
Mhm.
And like inclusion and helping them and to feel like this is my church, this is where I
Mhm.
belong, and this is what I do in church to grow.
Yeah.
Mm.
So I'm a huge I use my position as a director, children ministry director, not only like, oh, I create programs for kids. No, this is evangelism.
Mhm.
you know um and that's what I like live and tell people, like this is not a simple ministry. This is a real ministry. And so thank God with his help, the mindset of pastors and the culture and people, church members, to see the children's
Mm.
ministry department has changed. And I said, this is
Mhm.
we just started a ministry that it's called Making Waves. And I go to their churches and preach about our responsibility as a parents to be the ones introducing our children to Jesus, not just to wait for a Bible worker or a
Mhm.
pastor to offer Bible studies, but us be the ones that lead our kids into baptism or to study the Bible. The Holy Spirit is the one who tells, like, if you should get baptized or not, but we should be the ones, the parents with that privilege to introduce our kids to Jesus. So I created some boxes, and because I'm that kind of mom, like if I don't have a space for the material for a Bible study, I lose it. Okay,
Mm.
so I
Mm.
put some of those like shoe boxes, like nice from Michael's, very nice. And I put the Bible study. I put a bunch of snacks like gum or something, and I put the Bible study, a journal, a like pencil, pens, like very nice for them. So, and I just make the commitment to the parents, like 1 hour a week, 1 hour a week to
Mm.
do evangelism with your kid. Like even if it's a Saturday afternoon or night, just get the Bible study and spend 1 hour with your kids, leading them into Bible study. And they
Mm.
sign their card and they do it. So at this point, we have 84 kids studying the Bible with their parents, connecting, making that bonding. 80, we have 84 studying to not to get baptized, but I mean to get to complete that Bible study with their parents.
Wow.
And then I
What?
tell when they feel like they want to get baptized, I'm just telling them, kids don't get a junior version of the Holy Spirit. The same Holy
Right.
Spirit that have
Yeah.
called you is
Yeah.
the same Holy Spirit that calling your children. Because many
Yeah.
parents are like, my kid is too young, and I say, sister, listen. When the kid is asking, it's because the
Yes.
Holy Spirit.
100%.
Don't say that.
Amen.
Don't
100%.
because they said, oh no, it's too young. Yeah, but and then it's 13, and they don't have that eager, or they're like, oh, you said no to me. And Ellen G. White,
Yeah.
she said, like, do not delay, don't believe, because
Yeah.
some people they need like Ellen G. White context to see,
Mm.
okay. But I'm telling you right now, Ellen G. White says that kids can be mature enough to say yes to Jesus at early age.
Amen.
And I can give you the page. I don't have it here, but I have it.
But you know what it is I think we are a very intellectual church, and the Elizabeth Talbot says that the longest distance is 13 inches from your head to your heart, and a child knows Jesus in their heart.
Exactly.
And we think they need to know Jesus in their intellect, but it's really the heart that makes the
Exactly.
difference.
The journey starts.
And when we tell them then no
Yes.
to their heart,
Yes, exactly.
it ugh.
Yeah.
It's
We're doing we're telling them they can't trust their heart for one thing, which that's a whole different conversation.
right.
Exactly. That's another podcast. But I'm telling you, it's like I'm huge in evangelism, and
So I
it's
want to know.
serious.
Sorry to interrupt you again, Nitza, but what do you? Kim usually asks this question. Sorry, Kim, I'm jumping in. What do you know about God now that you didn't know, or how is there anything that you've learned completely new about who God is since you started this ministry?
Oh, so many things. But I'm telling you, I am a person that worries a lot in like not having the funds or not having this or this. Like I'm like a list person that it needs to be, it needs to be. But I learned that I don't have to worry about money. I don't have to be worried about a stage. I don't have, because this is God's will. And he has provided everything. I haven't spent $1 in this program because he's the one coming up with the funds. But sometimes like in the past I was like, oh, how are we gonna get it? Like where am I gonna get it? But God took care of that. And just trust level that I have with God is like it changed the nature of worrying that I have. I used to be like so anxious and like, oh, this and this and this. But just by opening my eyes, my ears, my heart, I see that God is have it in control. And like this is not my program, this is God's program, and he will provide. If it's the last day, I'm just gonna keep planning like it's gonna happen. And that's before call. I was planning like I have the customs, I will do this and this. I was just planning like it's gonna be a program, not sure when I'm gonna get the money or how is God is gonna work. But I was just planning, and I just like the trusting is real. Like we can say it like, oh, I trust God. No, but trusting it with your whole self, like keeping all the stress and the worry, it's another level of trusting. Because we can say I trust God, well, not really, because you're worrying or when you're crying or you're
Right.
stressed
Or you're waiting until you have the security, and then you start walking. But what I'm hearing you say is you start walking and then it just opens up to you.
exactly. And that's another type of level of trusting and living in God's hand. And it's just amazing. Let me tell you that soon I'll be moving to Idaho. My husband got an invitation to be to work as a BP at the conference there, and I said, "What's gonna happen with this ministry? What's good? Like I'm leaving in August, and like before called and before getting accepted to do the presentation at called, and I said, what's gonna happen?" And but God was so direct and like, you have to go, you have to go. And I said, what about my ministry? This is blooming. It's like I can't leave at this moment. But and then I said, like, God is in control. Like this ministry is not about you. It's just God has it. And when I got accepted to participate in our call, and when they said, Nitza, you got the first place, I started crying because the first thing that I remember at that time is like, I'm in control. So now I can go to Idaho. And before moving to Idaho, I can just secure the theater
Mm.
and have everything ready. And I can go to Idaho without worrying what's going to happen during the Christmas program. Of
Wow.
course, I'm going to come to say bye to my
Of
kids. I can
course.
just like disappear. I'm just going to go and
Yeah.
help because this is a two-show event now. It's not
Right.
only one, it's two-show. I'll be there to help. But now I'm in peace that, it's like God will take care of this. And He already did. And let me tell you that, like I was at the beginning, like not too many people apply for the children's ministry department. Now they have a pile of resumes, and I'm like, praise the Lord. They
Wow.
see the value of this ministry. These
Mm.
evangelists, this is not like, oh, because I like you get the job. No, no, no. This is a qualified
Right.
evangelist, a pastoral position
Yeah.
that will lead our
Yes.
kids.
Right.
And I'm so happy that even I'm moving to another state. This is running, and
So
God.
now you just get to start it in Idaho.
Yes.
Exactly. Exactly.
Right.
And
Right.
I've been researching about that area, and Boise area and Salt Lake City, that are very in Utah. Those are the states that have the higher percentage of kids with autism.
Really?
And Utah is the state that creates more material for kids with autism. So I don't know why, but I'd love to research more about like
Mhm.
what's happening. But that's a perfect area to start.
Mhm.
So
To start
don't
again.
so Nitza, before we get off, when we're done recording,
Yes.
remind me if I forget, or Kim remind me, because I'm prone to do that. But I know someone I want you to get in contact with in Boise. So there's
Perfect.
someone there that I know you need to get connected with. And let's just say, I think it's going to be a great connection to help you out with all this.
Yeah,
So
that would be
anyway,
wonderful. See, God is
Wow.
working. And
Yeah.
I'm like,
Right.
I'm not
there's
Right.
worried about
no
anything. God is
no
already
question.
turning the people and
That
everything. Yes.
there's something else that you said that I know this is going way, 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 way back, but in this story, but I think it's so important. And I can't tell you, you're the second person this summer that this concept has brought up to me. In fact, it's another person that we're going to have on the podcast in the next few months, hopefully. But the idea to literally view others,
Mm.
anyone that we are serving,
Mm.
anyone that we do anything for, the man on the street corner, the children that we work with, just anyone, to literally view them as the face of Jesus. It changes what we do, and it changes how we do it, and it changes the quality of what we want to offer or how we want to reach out. If you literally see the face of Jesus, and what you said about seeing the face of Jesus in
Mhm.
all of those children, and the volunteers and the whole thing, what a powerful, beautiful thing for us to think about. I remember, this is when I was a young mother. We were at a camp meeting, and we were sitting in the cafeteria, and it was I had 3 small children at the time. They were like 2, 3, 4, because we had our kids all right together, so they were just like these little stair steps. And uh, how do I say this? Quite sparkly little kids,
Mhm.
right? And in this place where we would eat every day, there were people that would come. You'd go through line to get your food, but then they would come over and bring you drink, or they would, ask you if you needed anything else. So the wait staff, and they fawned over my children. And I mean, they just, like, they couldn't get enough of my children. And then one day I noticed, it was like early in the week too. I noticed that there was a family that sat pretty close to us this one meal that had a special needs child.
Mhm.
And I noticed the wait staff not fawning
Mm.
Mm.
over their children the way my children were getting fawned over. And it just made me feel incredibly uncomfortable and just sad in a way that I had not, like I just never considered that a life would be very different. Do you know what I'm saying? Like just in
Yes.
the reaction of other people around you, like the reaction of, wait staff, right? Or just
Mhm.
people on the street or people in the grocery store. Instead of, oh, what beautiful children you have people that just walk past because they feel awkward and they don't know how to
Mhm.
interact.
Yeah.
And so I can only begin to imagine what a
Mm.
gift this is, not just for the children, but for the parents. I
Oh,
mean, what a
yes.
huge, incredible gift to have other young people and other adults and other people just fawning over their children.
Oh, yeah.
What an
Mhm.
incredible, incredible gift you are giving them. I mean, it's absolutely remarkable.
And that's one of the things that also we need to work on our churches, to be ready and welcome. And as I mentioned, like some of the families that have joined their local SDA church, and there is a desire from our from our churches and our people to learn how to help them.
Mm.
And yeah, we just need to bring more awareness, and maybe and bring like a specialist, to help us understand and to help our churches to say, how to get the possibilities out of people with disabilities in our church. And yep, but I get it,
Mm.
it's just
Yeah,
those parents they really enjoy.
we need to
Mhm.
know how to let them come unto me and forbid them not, right? Like we need to
Mm.
understand what that means, and we need to understand how to do that with all children.
Yes,
With all children.
exactly, exactly. Yep.
Yeah.
Mm.
Wow. This is absolutely fantastic. Do you have children of your own?
I have one, Jordan.
What?
She's 6 years old, and
Mm.
she is an amazing kid that loves doing this program. And yeah, and she loves it. She loves being part.
Well, what strikes me is that story about that man that made the drums.
Mm,
Mm.
The ripple effect. Like you think you're helping this little boy be Joseph,
exactly.
but
Yeah.
that's almost a small piece of it,
Exactly.
because there's the little boy being Joseph. There's the parents who get to watch and not have to be right there with their kid helping them because somebody else is doing that for them, so they can actually rest and relax, trusting that their child not only is shining but has what they need in order to shine,
Yes.
has the support around them. Then you've got the ministry that you're doing to the volunteers, by opening and letting them be Jesus. And
Hmm.
then you have this one man, and maybe there were more, but this one man who I think, it's fair to say he's at the bottom of the barrel and feels, probably, I'm a therapist, so probably feels like nothing. I have nothing to offer. I'm wasted space. And what you were able to give to him, because he was able to give instead of receive. That to me, whew,
Yep.
and what an eye-opening. I have 2 able-bodied children, um, who can sing and do all the things and who were in plenty of Christmas programs. Um, and it never even crossed my mind, because we have a young man in our church with Down syndrome who was never able, I mean, maybe not, I don't know, but not able to be Joseph, not able to be an angel, not able to be whatever. That just, it never even, like almost shame on me, but I'm not going to shame myself. But now this conversation is a ministry even more so, because now everyone listening
And I
can have
hope,
can have different eyes.
I hope so. That's my prayer.
Yeah.
That's the
Wow.
desire of my heart. Insane. Like really.
I hope they can see who's around them and do this type of ministry and to take care of them.
You know, this podcast is, we call it Joy in the Weeds, and
And
it
we're
is
just crying.
I cry at least once a podcast. It's all good.
yeah.
Oh, wow.
But you know, we talk about it being joy in the weeds and how you can have joy in one hand and weeds in the other, and you know, at the same time. And I will just say this: you are a huge ray of sunshine joy, like a massive ray of sunshine joy, that is just flooding the lives of so many people that have experienced a lot of weeds, a lot of weeds. And yeah, what a beautiful, beautiful thing. And I'm so thankful that you're willing to come on here and visit with us.
Yeah.
And
No, thank you so much.
I know it is going to be a blessing to so many. I just want to, before we wrap it up, we do ask a question, and we're every podcast, and we're going to ask you that in just a second. But I just want to challenge all of our listeners, you know, where you worship, where you work, where you shop, to open your heart and your eyes to those around you, and especially the parents that may have special needs children. And if by any chance you are a Sabbath school teacher, or a Sunday school teacher, or you do children's ministry in some way, shape, or form in your church, don't forget about the children with special needs. And Nitza, we're going to get all of your information and ways that people can contact either you or the conference if they want to make donations. There may be people who really want to help support this. But then also, you know, they may want to get a hold of you to see how they can start something in their area to kind of learn more about what you do. So we'll get all of that information. So if you need any of that, go to the show notes. There'll also be links where you can watch some things. We'll have that in there as well, so that you can actually see the face of Jesus.
Yes, totally. You're gonna love it. Yes.
But Nitza, before we go, we always ask this question, and all three of us are going to answer the question. But in the last 24 hours, what is something that's brought you joy, laughter, or a smile? So in the last 24 hours, something that's brought you joy, laughter, or a smile.
Just being able to see my mom. My mom, a few days ago, she had a type of heart attack. When I was at college, she was not feeling good, and when I was coming back, she was in the ER, and I had to take another flight to come to San Francisco, and just to be able to see my mom alive. And yesterday she was smiling, and we were joking, and
well,
that's the joy of my heart at this moment, that I can be here with her.
That's so awesome. Wow. Well, we will be praying for her, and please, everyone that hears this, say a prayer for Nitza's mom. And we're so glad and so honored and so thankful that you were still willing to take the time to sit down with us. So thank you so much.
No, thank you for giving me the opportunity to be here.
Of course.
This morning, after being gone for a month, this is very simple, nothing very profound or anything, but I was able to exercise.
Yay, Kim!
And I do this exercise called Pure Bar, which is very, very exhausting, but I got right back into it, and it was really nice to just get that back into my routine, because, you know, I've slumped off traveling around the world for the last month. So that brought me some joy.
That's amazing.
Miss Beth.
Well, I was sitting here thinking I really should have planned and come up with something. Trying to remember. Oh, okay. This seems so incredibly shallow after this beautiful conversation, which is why I was hesitating. But truly, it's what's brought me joy, laughter, and a smile. Chris and I are getting ready to go on a trip to Hawaii for a family reunion. Nice. My family is native Hawaiian, and I've never been. And so I get to go and meet family and kind of get to know that part of my heritage. And so I'm super excited about it. But I am someone who loves and adores clothes. And anyway, yesterday I was able to take some time because Chris had to work and I just wanted to get out of his hair. And so I went shopping, and I haven't been shopping in the longest time. And you know, those times you can go shopping over and over and over again and you find nothing, like
Nothing.
nothing
Mhm,
fits,
mhm,
nothing like
mhm.
I'm telling you, it was like over and over and over and over again. And then even like going to the register and thinking, oh my word, this is how much it's going to be. And then they ring it up and it was like less than half of it, and things like
Nice.
that happening. And I'm
Yay.
telling you, I was just like this. Anyway, just reminded how much I enjoy that process.
There you
So
That's
go.
amazing.
I love
Yes.
it.
so shallow, but so fun and such a joy for me. So that's what it
Yes.
was.
That's awesome.
Very
Yay.
good.
Oh, Nitza, thank you
Thank you, Nitza, for
so
spending
much.
time with us.
What a joy. Hang on, don't leave us once we quit recording. But yeah, what a joy this has been. I know that this conversation has
Mhm,
inspired a lot of
mhm,
people. And
mhm.
for that, we thank you. And yeah, just thank you. Thank
No,
you
thank
for
you so
all
much.
you're
Thank you for
doing.
this opportunity. Really, thank you. Thank you.
Well, you are so welcome. It was our pleasure.
Mhm.
All right. Well, hey, if you are out there and experiencing a lot of weeds, go and find some joy, because there's a lot of joy out there, obviously. And maybe God's calling you to do something to bring joy to others.
Yeah.
So have a wonderful day. Bye. Thank you so much for joining us today. We would really love to hear from you. So please find us. We're on Facebook and Instagram. Just search for Joy in the Weeds. You can also email us. Our email address is joy@carolinasda.org. That's joy@carolinasda.org. Now, we hope that today, as you navigate the weeds, you will also hold on to moments of joy. This podcast is a production of the Carolina Conference of the Seventh-day Adventist Church.